Welcome to our monthly podcast for Smart Women Savvy Money community. As you know, we're doing things a little differently this year. We used to record our webinars live, and now we're doing it in podcast form. And so thank you for transitioning with us. My name is Diane Manuel, and I'm a financial advisor here at Urban Wealth Management. So many of you know us and know our firm. However, I do want to welcome all the new folks that are joining us and have popped onto this podcast. We are a full-service financial advisory firm. We do investment management, we do financial planning, and actually we do insurance planning also. The firm is 100% women, which makes us unique for the most part. I only know one other firm that is all women. So that is something that we bring to the table. And as such, as you can imagine, most of our clients are women. They bring their partners and their spouses and their kids and their business and everyone into the mix as we help them achieve their financial intentions and their financial goals. The Smart Women Savvy Money podcast is one of the things that we share with our community. There's no fee, there's no cost. We love it when you share it with your friends and family. So please feel free to forward this link to whomever you think will find this important and interesting. Some of the webinars are about financial issues, and other webinars are about lifestyle. And we find that is very important because our clients have full lives and so many different things impact their well-being. So we have a tendency to share just a number of different topics. And as you will see throughout the year, we do 11 of these. We're dark in December. However, you will get 11 different podcasts throughout the year. And I hope these touch you and you find them interesting, and we would love to hear your feedback. To get to know us a little bit more, feel free to visit our website frequently. We list our services and also our blogs, and we have a variety of videos that you can also access. So please feel free to reach out if you just want to ask a question. Please do so. I don't know if I said my name. Again, I'm Diane Manuel, and I'm a financial advisor here, along with the 4 other women I work with. However, right now I'm going to turn it over to our speaker for today, Mimi Donaldson. Mimi, I met a few years ago. She is an amazing speech coach. She always makes me laugh. She always finds the humor in just about any situation. But more importantly, she has helped a ton of women speak and share their thoughts and ideas to a variety of different audiences. And she has willingly come on this podcast to share her strategy and her formula and her motto for making you as successful as possible as you're trying to get your point across or convince someone to see your perspective or to get on your side. And Mimi, I want to turn this over to you, and you can walk us through this process.
Thank you, Diane. I wanted everybody to know that I started out in human resources after I got a master's in education. My first job was actually as a university teacher at Columbia University, where I got my master's, and it was always verbal communication that won the day. It's very important, even in this day of Instagram pictures and little tweets and things, it's still important to talk. People still get a lot out of your talking, and they will buy what you have to sell, whether it's you for a promotion or raise, whether it's increasing your business, or whether it's relating to those people at home that you have to talk to. So my whole career has really been, how do you get results with talking? And this book, Pitch Perfect, that we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you the actual formula template as to how audiences or people want to hear what you have to say and what's in their mind and how you can answer the questions as they come up in their mind. And this speech is actually very relevant. You have your PowerPoint here that we're going to go through, but you can feel free to take lots of notes. You'll have everything you need to talk to that one person that you seemingly can't get through to. You might need to talk to a team of people that you want to all be on the same page, as they say. You might need to talk to your family about something you want, and you might need to talk to potential people to share in your business or buy your products or services. So whatever it is, this is the effectiveness of spoken communication. And before we go to our first slide, let me just say that when you speak to anyone, whether it's one-to-one or 16,000, which was my biggest audience in the Milwaukee Convention Center, that was kind of scary because the sound waves take a long time to get to 16,000, and so they didn't laugh immediately after the joke. It was like a time release. I would finish the sentence and then it would go bum 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 bum. Ha 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 ha. So it would I'd have to wait. It threw me off. But 16,000 is a lot of people. You don't have to speak to that. But whoever you speak to, you're going to communicate on two levels, the right brain and the left brain. The right brain decides, that's the illogical part, that's the emotional part of your brain. That part decides whether they like you when you start talking or not. Like, am I going to really listen to this person? Oh, not yet. No, we're not going to change the slide yet.
Oh, sorry.
Am I really going to talk to this person, listen to this person or not? So the right brain is always looking at, is this person likable? And we'll go into what makes you likable, and they go, oh, she's a good speaker, or what doesn't, where they're going to go, boring. So we'll go into that. The second level on which you communicate, the left brain, is logic. In other words, does she make sense? Are her sentences logical? What is she talking about? And because the content has to be following their train of thought, so you avoid audience whiplash. In other words, audience whiplash is when you say something and they go, what? What'd she say? And you lost them. So the content has to be logical. So the two levels are the emotional and logical. Now with the emotional, how you make that connection or you break that connection depends on your energy. And here's where we go to our first slide. And the energy is the most important quality to present yourself. It is. It's the thing that people say, oh, I like her, or no, I don't like her. So you give your energy away to attract people through the 5 channels of your body. That's how you give the energy away. Most of us squelch it down when we're nervous and we get softer and we don't look at people and we shut down. It's actually the opposite you need to do. 5 channels. The first channel is the eyes. And yes, everything they say about eyes is true. All that stuff about eye contact, it's true. You need to give away your energy through eye contact. Now, what if you're talking to 10 people? You want to flip from person to person? No, that makes you look nervous. You want to focus on a person for a thought, then focus on another person for another thought, and really meet their eyes. Really make your eyes sparkle. The thing that people are looking for is, are you excited about your topic? Do you really believe what you're saying? And one of my mantras is, nobody's going to be more excited about your speech than you are. So that's why you want to make sure the energy is coming through your eyes. The second channel are your hands. And people always say, what do I do with my hands? Well, nothing. Because the hands are motivated by the energy that comes through your eyes and also through your voice, which we're going to get to in a minute. But hands show your message. They can add to your message, but you really can't move them without motivation. So don't think about them. Think about your eyes and your voice. The third channel is feet. Again, what do you do with your feet? Well, nothing really. Plant yourself. Put all the energy that you would normally put pacing around. People don't appreciate that. Put it in your voice and your eyes. The fourth channel is the body, and most of you really, you're professional people. You know how to dress and how to hold your body and not to sway from side to side or shift. If women wear too high of a heel and they'll shift their weight from one side to the other. But if it's distracting, it's wrong. And that's the rule for all of these channels. In other words, the body, if your clothes aren't fitting right, you know how a person will wear a shirt that's pulling at a button? Some of the people in the audience cannot tear their eyes away from that. They're not with you now. They're with the button on your shirt. So make sure everything's fitting well. And the fifth channel is the voice. The voice and the eyes are the only two channels you really need to talk about. So here's an example. If I have no energy in my eyes or voice and I say, okay, what I'm going to talk to you about now is really important, and I start moving my hands with that, the hands are going to look stupid. It's not motivated. But your hands will come up naturally when you have enough energy in your eyes and your voice, and you really want the audience to get what you're saying, to really understand. And let's just talk about nervousness right here, because nervousness is just adrenaline gone wrong. Public speaking is the #1 fear of everyone in this country. Death is number 5. I can only guess the other 3, which are probably torture and terrible things. But death, that was what motivated Jerry Seinfeld to make that classic joke, which was at a funeral, you would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. So that was the funny joke, because public speaking is so intense. So people say, how do I stop nervousness? And I say, concentrate on giving away your energy through these 5 channels. And also, here's the best 4 words in the English language. It's not about you. You're talking to achieve a certain purpose, whether it's a raise or a promotion which you have to justify with facts, or whether it's speaking for 16,000 people and you want them to be smiling and nodding the whole time. So you're giving away the energy to make a point, and it's not about you. Are you delivering your speech to a mirror? No. Now, if you were delivering your speech to a mirror, you could get nervous. I will give you permission. But you're not. There are people out there with needs and with wanting them to tell you how to make their life better in some way. And that's your job in a speech, whether it's to expand your business or entertain people for many dollars. Or whether it's a TED Talk. Yeah, lately, Diane, I've been coaching a lot of TED speakers and TEDx.
That's excellent.
And it's just great. I get them not to be nervous by saying, it's not about you. And there's a sigh of relief. Oh, it's about the thing I'm sharing. It's about what I've done to improve the world. Oh, it's about the people I'm helping. Oh, it's not about me. All right. So that should take care of nervousness for you. I wish it was that easy. Now, before we go to the next slide, I'm going to say we're going to switch gears now from the right brain, which is that emotion, which is they don't want to be nervous. Believe me, the audience has enough stress. They do not make them nervous. They do not like when a speaker makes them nervous. It's not good. Doesn't matter how great your content is. If you make them nervous, they'll turn you off because life is hard enough, right? Okay, so now we're going to switch to content. And there is a certain way people want to hear the information. In my 35 years of keynote speaking in front of audiences of thousands, what I've learned is audiences want to hear something in a certain way. They want you to answer the question in their minds as the questions come up. So we'll go to the next slide, which says, Speak to your listener's train of thought. In other words, step one, picture them with their arms folded, looking at you sideways, and they're saying, let's make the next slide go, why should I listen? What's in it for me? That's what they're asking you. And you better answer them. So the speakers that start out with, let me tell you my story, I don't agree with that. I think they're not interested in you yet. You're going to give them value and you're going to answer their need, and then they'll be interested in you. So the next thing says lead with the need. Don't you love that? It rhymes. You can remember that. So lead with the need, the pain, or the situation within your listener that you can help with. That's what you lead with. So, for instance, in my speeches, if I'm doing this, which I probably should have led with, does the thought of speaking in front of an audience make you sweat and keep you up at night? Do you suspect you may be boring? Do you wish you could make people laugh? So I lead with all those three sentences. And people come up to me afterwards and say, oh, you know, you got me with the third one. I know I'm a good speaker, but I've always wanted to make an audience laugh. So can you help me? So what you want to do is do a lot of research for step one and find out what it is your listener reacts to. What is their need? And when you're going in for a one-to-one conversation or 15,000 people, what is their need? How can you get their attention, and how can you get them to elbow the person next to them and say, oh, she really knows us. Oh, she knows. Oh, I just had that happen yesterday. Yes. That's what you want in step one. And step one's tough. You got to work on it. You got to ask your people, why did they hire you? What did you do for people? Read your emails. Read your thank you notes. All right, now they know. So they've uncrossed their arms. They're looking, and they say step two. They're asking you, how will you solve it? You got my pain. What's your solution? And then you offer them a brief solution. And what that is it's probably on the homepage of your website. It's probably how you usually lead off every conversation when people say, what do you do? That's your sentence. But I'm saying set the people up in step one to actually hear it by relating to them first. Then, how will you solve it? Give them a brief solution. So I always say, I'm Mimi Donaldson. I'm a speech coach. I will help you create your perfect speech, whether it's for a marketing purpose or for a TED Talk. So that's my step two. That's a solution. So you can easily see your step one. If you're a financial advisor, you lead with the need. I had a financial advisor client who led with the sentence, research shows that people are more afraid of running out of money than running out of life. In other words, they're more open to dying rather than living in old age without any money. It's that fear or the need or the pain that you're facing right now with your baby boomers that didn't save enough to retire. So it's that kind of thing and financial. And then how will you solve it? I'm sure you have a method, and I'm sure you have a reason. That's where you would say your brief solution. You're going to get to explain it later, but this is all people want up front. Then their mind goes to, okay, you got what I'm doing. You got what my need is. I understand your solution, but why are you the one? Aren't there a bunch of financial planners out there? Aren't there a bunch of fitness instructors? Aren't there a bunch of natural cosmetic people? So I'm just thinking of some clients that I've had. So why are you the one? And that's where you bring up your most famous thing. In other words, your credibility or background. And you don't do the whole thing. You don't do your, oh, I got my master's degree from, no. But you might want to bring up something that, for instance, my biggest claim to fame for a speech coach would be that I've spoken for 30 years to audiences of thousands. Oh, Do you want that person writing your speech with you? Yeah, pretty much. You don't want a person who knows sort of about speaking, but they've never actually paid the rent with it. So that's my most famous thing about people hiring me to be their speech coach. So you got to think about your most famous thing or a recent transaction that you completed that you're so proud of that it makes your eyes sparkle, because your eyes need to sparkle when you're talking to people. That's what they're going to remember. Okay, so now if you have 30 seconds or 60 seconds, that's all you can get in, right? That's it. That's all the time you got. But what if the chamber says, can you speak for 10 minutes about your business? You say, yes, ma'am. Or what if they say, can you speak for 20 minutes? You go, yes, but what are you going to do? Are you going to put up a boring PowerPoint? You might put up a PowerPoint. Doesn't have to be boring. But step 4 is when the listener says, step 4, okay, give me a taste. Let's click on that button. Step 4, okay, give me a taste. And then proof that it works. So this is where people come out with their stuff. For me, it's the 7 steps, which I'm giving you right now. That's my methodology. That's my stuff. That's how I work with people. We flesh out step by step so the audience is nodding and smiling the whole time saying, oh, I got that, because you're answering their questions. So my stuff is that. But your stuff is other stuff. You might meet with the person first. You might research. You might give them some options. All that stuff that your company or you put in a PowerPoint, that's where this goes. And if you have even more time, you can go to step 5, which is give me more. In other words, more proof. And this is where people sometimes take out testimonials. Sometimes they put that in their thing, because if somebody praises you in their own words, it's really cool. It doesn't sound like you at all. And if you read a testimonial, people will know that's not you, but it's fun because it's a different voice and it's singing your praises. People have a hard time singing their own praises. But if I were to ask you to read a letter that you got that touched your heart because somebody thanked you for something, you'd read that letter because it's not you, it's the letter. And so they put up that. Some people tell success stories. If you're a coach, you don't really have measurables, maybe. I mean, you're a life coach you may not have measurables, but you have letters that say, thank you, my life improved in this way. And then you would give them a success story. Before this woman came to me, she was up. After she came to me, she was da-da-da. I have a person who owns a personal fitness studio, and the person not only lost the weight, but attracted her husband of her true love, the husband who's her true love, and her whole life turned around. Went for the interview that she wouldn't go to because she didn't fit in her clothes, and it just, nothing succeeds like a success story. I can't believe I just said
right.
that.
Right.
But it's true. It's true. All right, so now you've given them all this like objective information that you could actually have on PowerPoints or in a handout, which when I do this speech live, you get this in a handout, you get these steps. But now people want to know, wait, were you always so put together? What's your story? Like, why are you doing this? Why, if you never make money all week, why do you come back on Monday so jazzed? In other words, step 6, how do you know this on a deeper level? I always say, what part of your job would you do for free? That's where the juice is. That's what you would do. What have I done all my life besides keynote speech? I've helped people with their speeches. I used to call it mentoring and do it for free with all my girlfriends. But now I charge for it. And people call me up and they're freaking out. They have a TEDx speech in 2 months and they don't know what they're going to say. Exactly. So it's great. So my why story, yes. Would I do this for free? Yes. Would I do this? Of course. And here's my why story. Oh, this is so funny. Other people know your why story better than you because you can't really see it. So I was a drama major in undergrad, and then I was a teacher, and then as I told you, HR. So here's my why story that someone else told me. Oh, I know your why story. I thought I wanted the bright lights of Broadway and then the keynote stage. But what really lights me up are the bright lights in my clients' eyes when we come up with a sentence they can hardly wait to say. That took less than 30 seconds. It choked me up every time. So your why story should choke you up.
Yeah,
and you should be able to say it right in less than 30 seconds. But it moves you and people go, oh, I get it. Oh, she really is walking her walk. That's what's going to get you hired or paid or agreed with when you're talking to somebody. You want agreement or payment or something in reciprocal, and that's going to do it. Now that you're human, you weren't always this put together. Some people have real deep why stories. No, I mean, I have a mortgage banker client, and she and her mother lived out of a car at one point. And she determined, no, I'm going to get houses for people. And that's so important to her. And that's what she would do. I mean, no matter what.
That's wonderful.
So you've given people a laugh and a tear in your why story. Now, since human beings are reciprocal beings, we need to do step 7 because now they're going, oh, I want to give you something back. And step 7 is, how do I begin? How do I work with you? And then call them to action. In other words, people want an instruction of how to begin. So let me do my little standard call to action, and you can steal it. It's called research. It's a really good call to action because it gives people 3 choices, right? Okay, so here's my call to action, and then we'll talk a little more. Okay, so right now, after you've heard my little speech, you might be in one of 3 places. Number 1, you might decide, oh, Mimi, I really connected with you. I want to work with you. So you call me or email me for an appointment, and we work together. And it takes several sessions, and we do it either online on Google Docs, or you come to my home office in Marina Del Rey. The second place you might be in is, oh, I don't hire people. I'm a do-it-yourself person. I learn how to do it, and then I do it myself. Great. Take this formula. You can buy the book. It'll help you with the formula. That's cheap. But take it, run with it, write your own speech. Good luck. I'm, perfect. Now, the third place you might be in is that you connected with me and I gave you some valuable information and you're thinking, I think I want to work with her, but I have more questions. In that case, Diane, if you'll change the slide.
Oh, yes.
It will be contact me for the complimentary 30-minute value discovery call. In other words, I turn my attention on you. We write your answer to the question, what do you do? We write it right there. And we decide, you discover if we're matched to work together. You either like my style or you don't. So that 30-minute, totally complimentary call is so wonderful and fun, and I love doing it. So call me or email me, and we can go from there. And I think Diane has some questions.
Yes, my gosh. I'm taking notes, too. So.
Oh, you're so cute.
Even though I've heard you.
Right. You've got the PowerPoint. That's right.
Even though I've heard you talk many times, there's a PowerPoint that I can reference. I can reference the video.
Yes.
But, just as I'm thinking and things are coming to my head, sometimes we're in really short timelines, right? And we're in an elevator, you're just meeting somebody, and you want to introduce yourself or kind of get who you are across really quickly. What are a couple of strategies we can use to do that?
Okay, first let's talk about the elevator. This is the thing. You don't have time in an elevator, You need one sentence, and it actually is leading with the need. So you're both looking at the numbers. Picture it. You're in the elevator. You're both looking at the floor numbers. Person looks at you. You have a name tag on because you're somewhere that has a name tag. Or they just look at you, and they say, so what do you do? Just like that. So what do you do? And instead of going, I'm a speech coach. I have 35 years of keynote speaking. You don't have time for any of that. You start with the words, you know how, and then you connect it. And I usually say in the same energy as they use, you don't want to overpower them and make them crazy because they won't like you. So they're usually low energy and they go, what do you do? Just like that. And you say, you know how some people can't stand to speak in front of a group? And they either go, yes, my sister-in-law, or yeah, me. And you say, I help with that. When you say, I help with that, they say, what do you do? Then you say, I'm a speech coach. And now they're at their floor and they say, do you have a card? And you say, yes. And you give them your card. That's it.
I love that.
That's all you got. So
let's
try it. Let's try it with you. You're in an elevator. Somebody looks at you, Diane, and they go, what do you do? And you say, you know how women sometimes struggle with their finances and they're super busy and overwhelmed and they really seem to plan? And don't say women because you might be with a man.
Okay.
So I would correct. Oh, I'm very good at being very firm with my clients. I would suggest you would say, you know how some people are real scattered with their money, even though they may be, you know how some people might be really organized, but when it comes to money, and you kind of shrug your shoulders. You shrug your shoulders. And they'll go, yes, my wife is like that, or my husband's like that, or my best friend's like that. And you go, I help with that. Really? What do you do? And then you would say, I'm a financial wealth manager.
Planner advisor, right, whatever.
Yes, planner advisor. So it's the whole, you just have to come up with a few you-know-hows.
That's
and
amazing.
We can get them, and just think about your valuable, your ideal client, and what do they want to go, yeah, I could use that.
Right.
And then you just put it in there. You know how you think you're a good speaker, but you've always wanted to make people laugh? And they go, yeah. And I go, I help with that. Really?
That's amazing.
What do you do? I'm a speech coach. Oh, do you have a card? Here.
So I have one more question, and we're kind of running out of time, so a short one. And I think your model, your process here, it's key, and it's valuable for any situations. And personally, I think about when, I've tried to convince a boss to do something, or even in my family, I'm the oldest, and my brother used to, I asked my parents for something, and my brother used to say, Diane, you give up too soon. You don't have a good pitch. Just because he would watch. And so how can we use these steps in all parts of our lives to convince people of our ideas or our thoughts, or just to come along with us in some situation?
Well, the briefest thing I can say is picture them with their arms crossed around their chest, and they look at you sideways, and they say, why should I listen to you? What's in it for me? So if a boss or a brother or a sister, what is in it for them? It's not starting out with, I need this, Mom. I need that. No, it's, you know how I always get the breakfast in the morning and I clean up after my brother? Yeah, well, I'm thinking that deserves a raise of allowance. I mean, I'm just taking your example.
Right, exactly. Right.
But you have to lead with how it's going to benefit them.
Especially in an employer-employee situation.
Absolutely. You've got to have all your research done, your ducks in a row, and point out how you took the place of two other people who were let go, and they didn't hire someone else, and now you're doing it all.
Right. Right.
And then they're going to save a whole salary because they're just going to have to pay you one more salary besides yours.
Right.
Not two.
Right. Or you've got a great idea, and the reason you think it'll help your boss, help your boss look at his or her boss, right? You know.
Exactly.
Right. Well, gosh, Mimi, this has been wonderful. You are absolutely
thank you, Diane.
Delightful. I'm so glad you joined our community. You know, we're always trying to grow it. You're just a delightful personality, and you're so down to earth, and you're so respectful to who we all are, and trying to bring out our best persons as we're.
Well, you are the exact same way, Diane. Thank you for this.
Thank you. So now you all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for downloading the podcast. You know, I want you to know, just keep looking for the link the second Thursday of every single month. Join. If you haven't joined our community, join it. Tell your friends. Get on the email list. And you know, I'm just so committed to making sure that women have confidence and clarity as they go through their life, whether it's financial or other aspects. I'm always your biggest cheerleader, and I look forward to talking to you all, whether it's next month or the month after. Sometimes my colleague Renee does these. So thank you all so very, very, very much for joining us. Have a good rest of your day.